Marta, thank you so much. As I say, we've already shared your presentation. Your presentation has been shared with NCPs in other member states. We know that this is happening already. It's very interesting that the recommendations that you make are very focused on the strengthening of networking, of the strengthening of these linkages. You're making a clear request to the Commission to be investing in supporting and strengthening the capacities of the NCPs. Do you have like a network of NCPs? Are you discussing these issues amongst yourselves, or is this very much based upon your specific experience in Spain?
There is a network for NCPs of Societal Challenge number 2 that just ended. The project is called BioHorizon. And there will be a follow-up, a new network for NCPs of the whole Cluster 6 in Horizon Europe that will join not only Societal Challenge 2, but also what used to be Societal Challenge number 5, the environmental part, the biodiversity part. And there is going to be a topic, there is a topic on the work program for funding a new network of supporting NCPs. In the past, we have had activities, training events where DG-AGRI participated, and they informed us about any novelty about the EIP-AGRI, the developments, and so on. And this was very useful. But I think that more can be done in the future. I mean, we have to strengthen this collaboration, and this could be part of the work that could be done in the future network supporting NCPs in Horizon Europe.
But the interesting thing is you have a network, there are other networks, so this is also very much about networking the networks in order to enhance the overall function, contribution to the ACIS, etc., etc. Now, I mean, Spain is very, very lucky in having such an active NCP as yourself. We know very well that there are other member states that don't benefit from such active national contact points. What would be your advice to network support units, to colleagues, for reaching out in order to make a meaningful connection with their NCPs where they are maybe not so visible, maybe not so active, maybe not so open-minded as you are?
Well, I think that working in Europe is not just your contact point in your region or in your country. I mean, there is a lot of information now available online on the website. I mean, if you are a researcher anywhere, you can find useful information online. Well, I wish all NCPs were very helpful, but if they are not, you can always find other opportunities or even contact NCPs in other countries.
Right. Okay. Well, that's encouraging, but encouraging also that there is this ongoing networking and capacity building as well. Marta, again, I would like to say a really big thank you. And I'm sorry that you had to wait so long today in order to engage with the discussion, but your contribution has really had a very super impact in the previous webinars. Inge, you have your hand up.
Well, because what Marta was saying and also the questions asked, the fact that NCPs can help to develop the practice abstracts correctly made me think about another potential ACIS intervention, because I think those who know practitioners the best, farmers, will probably be the advisors. So you could, as an NCP, with regular connections with your CAP network, innovation strand, you could invite advisors to help to better develop these practice abstracts for the cases where theoretically, as I said before, we expect that in a multi-actor project you have scientists and you have non-scientists, people from practice, and the practice abstract should be also written better as a first step by the practitioners than by the researchers, because they know what practitioners want to read and how they want to hear their messages. And then, of course, the researchers will fine-tune and make that everything is correct and right. But I think the feeling of how to talk with the practitioner is probably more for the advisor than for the researcher. So already, in fact, my idea in the beginning was that this should happen within the multi-actor project. But so if this is not the case, I'm following your advice. In fact, in a way, we might think about this connection between NCPs and CAP networks and the innovation strand, and that our CAP networks, innovation strands, get the advisors together to try to translate the interesting, what is interesting for your country, practice abstracts in an understandable language for the practitioners in your country. So that could be another idea. A second idea, brokering events between the practitioners and the researchers, where definitely the NCPs and the CAP network innovation strands are the organizers, but where you really get your people together so that they can go together into a consortium. At the moment of the calls, that's typical. You also said it, I think. And then the third thing I was thinking, because also your presentation brings inspiration for me. It's very valuable to join here. This question of how to find Horizon projects. Indeed, this new NCP network, and in fact, it's a pity that the person who will be leading this is not with us. I hope we can share the presentations also with that person, because I think there's a lot to be learned for those who are now going to draft a real project of this NCP network. But they could maybe try to get either within their project, either in discussion with the people from the Commission who are managing RDs and the dashboard, etc., to bring this question which we just discussed, how do we find the Horizon projects in our country on a certain subject? It's simple, that question. And try to make an activity around that and try to seek how to solve that question. This is a very important issue, I think, for the future and for NCPs, as well as for the CAP networks and for the whole synergy between the two policies.
Well, I think that's did you want to respond to that, Marta, or?
Well, just a reflection. I mean, I'm upset about, because a lot of things can be done, but I mean, being effective on the use of time, that's really, really important, because everybody is very busy. I mean, scientists are very busy, the Commission is very busy, NCPs are very busy. So to make the best of our time, I think, is the clue. I mean,
yes.
Yep. So
I think we have a very powerful tool there. We, in fact, discovered it through COVID ourselves. Our EIP seminar in September was the first one that was recorded. And now we can share it with whoever, our desk officers, people in the country. Today, again, we present it, and everybody can look back so that nothing gets lost. Also, those that cannot attend, if it's a physical event, that it is recorded and that it can be found, so that it can be multiplied much more than what we could do in the past.
Yep. Yeah, indeed. Yep. Indeed, this pandemic has shown us to work differently, and we have to learn about the positive things. I mean, it was not easy to go from Spain to Brussels. I mean, now you don't have to go anywhere, and you can attend 10 times events. And
yep. Well, I think that's a very, very positive and a very relevant and a very important conclusion to today's webinar. Just before I hand over to Teresa, I just want to point out that Matej from Slovenia, whose Network Support Unit Managing Authority, asked a very important question in the chat. Is there a list of NCPs in the member states? Livy has replied with a link to the Commission website, and I guess also that if you start looking nationally, then you will be finding these contacts. So I hope that's a good answer to Mate's question.